Hello children, in this video we will begin with the figures of speech in English grammar. So children, what are figures of speech? A figure of speech is a word or a phrase that has a meaning other than the literal meaning. So there are many types of figures of speech in English language. It shows a variety of stylistic and rhetorical devices that make the English language more creative, more expressive, and more interesting. So, children, now let's try and understand the different types of figures of speech. So, the first one is simile. So, simile is a direct comparison between two things using the words like or as. So, let's see the example. The old man is as blind as a bat. So, children, you can see that the old man is directly compared to a bat for being blind by using the word as. So that is why this sentence is a simile. Second example, the moon is like a balloon. So here moon is directly compared to a balloon using the word like. So both these sentences are simile. Simile means direct comparison between two things, and most likely there will be two words in the sentences like and as. Next is metaphor. Metaphor is an indirect comparison between two unlike things or ideas. So simile was a comparison, a direct comparison between two like things. But a metaphor is an indirect comparison between two unlike things. Let's see the examples. He has a heart of stone. So here, human's heart is indirectly compared to a stone. So humans do not have a heart of stone, right? So that is why this sentence is a metaphor, because human's heart is indirectly compared to a stone. In the second example, the camel is the ship of the desert. Here, the camel is indirectly compared of being the ship of the desert. What is a ship of the desert? It means transportation. So, camel is being indirectly compared to be the ship of the desert. So, that is why it is a metaphor, because in both the sentences, the things are indirectly compared. Next is personification. The figure of speech in which a non-living thing or an object is given the human qualities or abilities. Let's see the example. The tide waits for no man. So you all know what is a tide, high tide, low tide. So here tide is given the human quality of waiting. Next, the trees scream in the raging wind. So again here the trees, I know trees are living things, but trees are given the human quality of screaming. Who does the screaming? Human does. So that is why here in this sentence, trees are given the human quality of screaming. So that is why both these sentences are personification. Next is pun. The words are used in such a way that it is capable of more than one application. It brings humor in an expression. Humor means fun or joke. It can be a little humorous, funny. Let's see the examples. The life of a person depends on his liver. So here liver symbolizes one which leads a healthy life as well as an important body part. So in this sentence there are two meanings, like one is a liver, that is an organ, okay, and another thing is a person who protects and lives a healthy life. So that is why it is a pun. Let's see the next example. An elephant's opinion carries a lot of weight. Here again, weight symbolizes the elephant's weight and the weight of an opinion. That is why both these sentences are pun. Next is tautology. The words of the same meaning are used together in order to emphasize a certain idea denoted by the words. That means similar words or same meaning is used in the same sentence. Let's see the example. That is totally and completely ridiculous. So in this sentence, there are two words, that is totally and completely, that has the same meaning or conveys the same meaning in the same sentence. Let's see the next example. I apologize because I am very sorry that I broke your bowl. So in this also we have two words, that is apologize and sorry, of the same meaning in the same sentence. So whenever you have a sentence in which there is two meanings, okay, two words of the same meaning, then it will be tautology. Next we have exclamation. Here the exclamatory form is used to draw greater attention to a point. Strong feelings of anger, joy, or disgust is expressed. Let's see the example. The birthday cake was so good. So children, here the feeling of happiness of liking the birthday cake is being expressed for a better poetic effect. And this figure of speech you can easily come to know by looking at the exclamatory mark. Second, I'm so mad right now. So here the feeling of anger is expressed for a better poetic effect. So both these sentences are having exclamation as a figure of speech. Next we have inversion. This is a figure of speech in which the order of words is reversed so as to emphasize a certain word. Let's see the example. Shouts the policeman. So children, just reading the sentence itself, you might have understood that it is not in the proper order. So in inversion, what you do is that you try to put the sentence in the correct order. Now you might think, why will anyone give an incorrect ordered sentence? Sometimes in poems or for creative writing, you need to add in some kind of sentences which gain little bit of attention. So that is why in inversion we try to put it into a correct order. So in this sentence, which is not in the correct order, so what is the correct order? The correct order is the policeman shouts. Okay children, let's see the second one. Into the room came she when I was sleeping. So here again we have an incorrect order or grammatically incorrect sentence. So what is the correct order? The correct order is I was sleeping when she came into the room. So both these sentences are having inversion as the figure of speech. Next we have a transferred epithet. Epithet is an adjective that grammatically qualifies or describes a noun other than the person or thing. Let's see the example. I had a wonderful day. So children, here the word wonderful describes the kind of day the speaker has experienced. Okay, it is not a wonderful day just because it is a day, but the person who has experienced it, for him or her, it is a wonderful day. Next, she looked at her through concerned eyes. Even here we have the word concerned eyes. So the eyes are not concerned, but here there is a deep meaning, that is the person who cares for someone. So that is a meaning. So here the word concerned eyes describes the person's care for someone. So both these sentences are having transferred epithet as the figure of speech. Next we have apostrophe. An apostrophe is a direct address to dead, to the absent, abstract, or to an object. It is a special form of personification. Let's see the example. Then came sweet death and rid me of this grief. So children, here you can see that there is a direct address is made to an abstract. What is an abstract? Abstract means the ones that you cannot see, feel, okay? So that is abstract. You cannot touch also. So in this sentence, you can see that death is being addressed for a better poetic effect. Next, roll on, thou deep and dark blue ocean, roll. Here, direct address is made to an abstract ocean for a better poetic effect. That means the ocean is being, told to roll. So ocean does not, take in commands. Okay, it goes in as it is because it is in the nature. So that is why both these sentences are apostrophe. Why? Because it addresses to the abstract, absent, or the dead. Next is antithesis. An antithesis is a striking opposition or contrast of words is made in the same sentence. So as we did tautology, which is the same meaning in the same sentence. So antithesis are opposite words, that is two opposite words in the same sentence. Let's see the example. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. So here the opposite words best and worst are used in the same sentence. Next, patience is bitter, but it has a sweet fruit. So again, here the opposite words bitter and sweet are used in the same sentence. So children, whenever you find two opposite words in one sentence, then it can be antithesis. Next is hyperbole. In hyperbole, there is a gross exaggeration made in the statement. Okay, a deep expression is being made. For example, you could have knocked me over with a feather. What is the meaning of knocked? Knocked means beating up. So here there is an exaggeration made in the sentence of beating or hurting someone down or knocking down a person with something as light as a feather. You can't hit anyone with a feather, right? So whenever you see any sentence which is exaggerated, grossly, then it will be a hyperbole. Let's see the second example. That was the easiest test in the world. So again here there is an exaggeration made in the sentence of the test being the easiest in the world. What do you mean by that? Maybe for that person the test was easiest, but a test cannot be the easiest in the entire world. So that is why the test being the easiest in the world is exaggerated. Okay, so both these sentences are hyperbole. Next is synecdoche. Here a part is used to represent the whole, or a whole represents the part in the sentence. So let's see the example. He lost his wheels for the weekend. Now children, in this sentence, wheels doesn't mean the tire or of the car. It is the actual, that is a whole. What is it? It is a car. So here the part, so wheels are a part of the car, right? So here the part wheels represents the whole, that is the car. So in the sentence, the person has lost his car, okay, and not just the wheels. So here the part wheels represents the whole, that is the car, that is the person has lost his car. Second example, the world treated him badly. Here again we have the whole, that is the world. So world is very big, right? So the whole world represents the part, that is treating a person badly. So that is why in the first sentence we had the part that is representing the whole, and the second sentence we have the whole that is representing the part. In the first sentence we had a part, that is a wheels, that was representing the car. Okay, that was the whole. And in the second sentence we have the whole, that is a world which is large, and that is representing the part that is treating a person badly. So that is why both these sentences are synecdoche. Next is climax. Climax is the arrangement of a series of events or ideas in an ascending or increasing order of its importance. Let's see the examples. He worked for days, months, and years on this project. So children, you can see that the series of events are in an increasing order. That is, first he worked for days, okay, that is 1 day, 2 day, then for months, and then for years. So it is in an increasing order. So climax means the events or things that are going on in the life are arranged in the increasing order, days, months, years. Let's see the second one. He sacrificed his business, his home, and his honor for political gains. So again here the series of events are in an increasing order. That means what? First he sacrificed his business, okay, and then his home, and then his honor. So what is the most important? So for everyone as a person, honor or self-respect is the most important. So honor is the topmost one. So the least one is sacrificing the business, then is the home, and the largest one is the honor. So both these sentences are in an increasing order, that is climax. Next is anticlimax. it is opposite of climax. That is, it is arranged in a decreasing order. Let's see the example. She dreamt of having a maid, a car, and a house. So here, just by reading the sentence, you might have understood that whenever you dream, you will dream about a house, right? Because that is very important for you. Then a car, then a maid. So here the series of events are in an decreasing order. That is, first is a maid, then the car and house. Let's see the second one. He has been working for years, months and days here. So again here it is in a decreasing order. Here the series of events are in a decreasing order, that is years, months and days. So that is why both these sentences are having anti-climax. Next is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of an initial consonant sound. Let's see the example. She sells seashells at the seashore. So in this sentence, just by reading, you might have understood that the sound of the consonant letter S, that is sir, is repeated for a better poetic effect. Let's see the second one. Nick needed new notebooks. So just by reading it, you might have noticed that the consonant letter N is repeated for a better poetic effect. So both these sentences are having alliteration. Next is repetition. It is when a word or a sentence is placed more than once within a poem. It is used for a better poetic effect. So in alliteration we had sound of consonant letters being repeated. Now in this we have words being repeated. Let's see the example. Long, long ago, there lived a king who was righteous. So by reading itself you can see the word long is repeated for a better poetic effect. Next, she worked out the sum again and again. So here we have the word again repeated for a better poetic effect. So both these sentences are having repetition. Next is euphemism. Euphemism is a polite way of saying something unpleasant, harsh or offensive. For example, she passed away last year. So children, here a polite way is used instead of using or saying died. So somebody has died, she has died. So that is why instead of saying died, the polite way is used of passing away. Next, we should let him go. So again here a polite way is used of letting him go. What is the meaning of letting him go? It means when somebody is being removed from the job, like firing him from the job. So a polite way is used of letting him go. So both these sentences are having euphemism. Next is irony. It is a speech in which the real meaning is exactly the opposite of that which is literally conveyed. For example, his friend's hand is as soft as a rock. So just by reading you might have understood that the real meaning is opposite to what is conveyed. That means that his friend's hand is not soft, it is hard as a rock. So, the real meaning is not conveyed, the opposite meaning is conveyed. Next, the desert was as cool as a bed of burning coals. So again here, the real meaning is the opposite of what is being portrayed. So the desert is not actually cool, but it is as hot as burning coals. Okay children, so both these sentences are having irony as a figure of speech. Next is onomatopoeia. In this figure of speech, sound is expressed through a word. For example, the bridge collapsed, creating a tremendous boom. So here the word boom conveys a sound. It creates sound. Next, the dishes fell to the floor with a clatter. So again, in this sentence, we have clatter that brings out the sound when the dishes fall onto the floor. So both these sentences are having onomatopoeia. Next is oxymoron. It is a special form of antithesis where two opposite qualities of the same thing are stated at once. As we saw antithesis, that was also an opposite, means opposite words are used in the same sentence. Even in this, that is oxymoron, we have opposite qualities being described in the same sentence. Example, this is a genuine imitation of the Rolex watch. So in this sentence, the two contradictory means opposite qualities, that is genuine and imitation, are stated at once, means together. So how can you distinguish or differentiate between antithesis and oxymoron? Most of the times in antithesis, the opposite words in a sentence will be placed far away from each other. So if you see in this, that is oxymoron, opposite words are together, that is genuine and imitation are placed together side by side. So what is the meaning of this? Genuine means real and imitation means artificial. So that is why both these are contradictory or opposite words placed side by side. Next, her singing was enough to raise the living dead. Here again the two opposite or contradictory qualities, living and dead, are stated at once. Okay, you can see that living plus dead, both the opposite words are placed together. So that is why both these sentences are oxymoron. Next is metonymy. It is the figure of speech that replaces the name of a thing with the name of something else with which it is closely related or associated. Example, let me give you a hand. So in this sentence, hand does not really mean the actual hand. It means helping someone. Let me help you. So the real meaning is replaced by something else. That is, help is being replaced by hand in the sentence. Next, England decides to keep a check on immigration. So again, England refers to the government. That is, actual England does not keep a check on immigration. It is the government in the England, okay, which is in England, that keeps a check on the immigration, that is migration of people from one country to another or from one state to another. So that is why the real meaning or the name is replaced by something else. So in both these sentences we have metonymy as the figure of speech. Next is interrogation or rhetorical questions. In interrogation, a question is asked, but the answer of which is generally not expected. For example, am I my brother's keeper? So here, this is a question which is asked to clear a fact and not to get an answer. So whenever you see any questions which does not require an answer, those type of questions are called as rhetorical questions. Next, how can I express my thanks to you? So again, here a question is asked to thank someone and not to get an answer. So that is why both these are interrogation. Next is epigram. It is a brief, interesting, memorable, satirical, witty, and sometimes surprising statement about a topic. For example, mankind must put an end to war, or war will put an end to mankind. So here a satirical or a witty statement is stated of ending the war. Why? Because if mankind just keeps on making wars or fighting wars, then the entire mankind will be washed off or finished away. So that is why a witty statement is being expressed. Next, I can resist everything except temptation. So again here an interesting statement is stated of not being able to resist temptation. So both these sentences are epigram. Next is litotes. It is an understatement in which a positive statement is expressed by negating its opposite. For example, you don't excel in maths. So here children, a positive statement is expressed instead of just telling you are terrible in maths. So that is very simple. Like if you do not want anybody to feel bad, then you tell the sentence in a positive way. So that is why this sentence that is there, you don't excel in maths, is a little bit positive. Okay. Next, the ice cream wasn't too bad. So again, instead of telling that the ice cream was bad, a positive way of statement is expressed by saying that the ice cream wasn't too bad. So both these sentences are litotes. Next is paradox. Paradox is a seemingly absurd. Absurd means illogical or contradictory, that is opposite ideas are expressed in the sentence. Example, I know one thing, that I know nothing. So just by reading the sentence itself, you might have seen that it is illogical or it does not make any sense. So in this sentence, an absurd or illogical idea is expressed. So that is why it is a paradox. Next, the more we know, the less we understand. So in this sentence, a contradictory or an opposite idea is expressed, that is more and less. So that is why both these sentences are paradox. Now children, we have now finished with all the figures of speech. Now let's do the exercise. Name and identify the figure of speech. First one, the pencil danced across the paper. So just by reading you might have understood that it is personification. Here the pencil, that is an object, a non-living object, is given the human quality of dancing for a better poetic effect. Second, the flag flapped in the wind. Now this one is onomatopoeia. Here the word flapped shows or conveys the sound when the flag is wavering into the wind. Third, I am so hungry I could eat a horse. So this is hyperbole. Here there is an exaggeration of the expression of eating a horse. So in the sentence it does not actually mean eating a horse. It means that the person is so hungry that it can eat anything. Next, the lake was as clear as the glass. So this is a simile. Here the lake is directly compared to the glass and the word used is as clear as. Okay children, we have now completed with figures of speech. I hope the topic is clear to you. I would ask you to practice all the figures of speech for better understanding. Thank you for listening children. Take care.